how we can impart skills in education. That is our today's topic. So I welcome you all. Since this topic is being discussed on different forum, we very much know that the education alone is not sufficient. The education along with the vocational requirement help us to build a candidate, a graduate who is useful to deliver the different abilities in the society or in the world of work. So, in this context, we will be discussing today. Let me, I think there is some problem. Yeah. So, skills in higher education, as per the National Education Policy 2020 is our topic. And yeah, as you know that in today's rapidly evolving job market, the role of higher education is shifting. Equipping students with practical skills beyond the classroom has become increasingly crucial for their future success and employability. And here, today in this class, in these two sessions, we are going to see the different aspects of skills in higher education to be brought to discussion. Obviously, this is in the light of the National Education Policy 2020. My dear professors, all you are undergoing a sensitization program under Madan Mohan Malviya Teacher Training Program organized by Human Resource Development Center of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar. And by this time, you must have quite conversant with the different policy requirements of the National Education Policy. And I'm quite sure that you all are trying your best to incorporate those aspects in your day-to-day teaching positions. The context here is, if you know the clause 16.5 in the National Education Policy, it says that by 2025, means at the most by the next year, at least 50% of learners through the school and higher education system shall have exposure to the vocational education, for which a clear action plan with targets and timelines will be developed. And obviously, this is in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goal 4.4 and will help to realize the full potential of India's demographic dividend. So having this knowledge, having this knowledge that vocational education has to be a part of higher education, and in aligning with the so that the curriculum are now being designed and developed so that the skill part and vocation part is incorporated. As you know that our national education policy has been designed with a deep-rooted discussions on the different aspects. And vocational education, skills education is one of the important aspect into the policy. Let us quickly see the reference to the context. I want to present before you the references to the context of today's session, what the people says about it. National Education Policy 2020 document of Ministry of Education, Government of India has focused on vocational education, vocationalization of higher education. And if you remember, two major aspects had been incorporated in the National Education Policy. and obviously it is reflected into the curriculum. One is experiential learning, because experiential learning is one of the tools through which skills can be developed. And second is internship. Second is the internship. So internship programs and experiential learning, these two are major path for development of skill. But apart from that, we have a different approaches which we are going to discuss. But national education policies lay down the emphasis on the skill education and emphasis on vocational education. Excuse me, please. Second document is India Labour Report 2024. I'm listing down some documents here. I want all my dear professor to go through that. India Labour Report 2024, which is the recent report, say that the employability of the graduate is decreasing because of, underline, because of the lack of vocational skills required by the graduates. So is to say, even the India Labour Report, which has been done, a survey across the labor here, definition of working force. In nutshell, the definition is working force. So how this working force is lacking in the vocational skills. Third is higher education, necessity and benefits of skill development by the Rajkumar Singh in October 23. He has also laid down, this paper is very important paper, which laid down how in different faculties, in the faculty of liberal arts, a faculty of humanities, a faculty of business management and commerce, and a faculty of science, everywhere, even in engineering and technology, we required skill in the in the graduate. Skill development needed for the positions in higher education. This is by Daffy Happin, who also focus on the focus of skill development. Developing employability skills in higher education and at work by J.D. Blue, which is in 2021, has given emphasis on the development of skills into the education process. Just one sec. मॅम मी लेक्चरमध्ये तुम्हाला कॉल बॅक करतो. मी इथेच आहे आपल्या कॅम्पसमध्ये. हो, मी कॅम्पसमध्ये लेक्चर जागी बोलवतो तुम्हाला. थँक्यू. I'm sorry. And the future of higher education skills for the world of tomorrow in UNESCO 2020, it was discussed. And obviously, you all know Sustainable Development Goal 4. So these are the references on which my presentation is going to be totally designed, which shows that skill development in higher education is important. My dear professor, you must be knowing our first education policy, which was designed in 1964 by the then Kothari Commission, which laid down his report, has begun that the destiny of the nations are being shaped in their four walls of the classroom. Meaning to say that our more focus is in the development of the cognitive skills and not the motor skills, psychomotor skills, or even in the emotional skills which are required for the world of work. So even when we discuss with different report, if you take up the report of the 1984 National Education Policy, if you take the report reference of the National Knowledge Commission, which came in 1994, they also mentioned that skills are very important to get the employment. And every year, I'm referring to the every year reports of Indian Labor Report, and I have observed that the vocational skills are lacking in our graduates, which is affecting on their employability. Nevertheless, you go to any industrial houses like FICCI or CII, they will say about the skill requirement. So having known this fact, it is very essential that we bring this skill education, the vocational skill education, as a part of our education in our curriculum design and development. So our today's agenda for the discussion, the context of skills and vocational development in National Education Policy 200. This is agenda number 1. The skill requirement in university education, taking the cross section, irrespective of the discipline, what are those core skills we required? I'm going to refer to two types of skills here. One is domain specific skills, and second is a core skill. And of course, I must mention about the third skill, which is a life skills. We need to understand these different types of skills, because when we are imparting education to the students, that time we must know that what is the nature of skills that we are developing. So across the discipline, there are certain skill requirements which we will be discussing in agenda 2. Then skills to be taught in the liberal arts and humanity. What are those skills that we require to taught for the students of liberal arts? Because you know today the workplaces are changing. We now in the National Education Policy talk about interdisciplinary approach and multidisciplinary approach. So when our students of economics go and work in the industry, which is having a background of either a production industry or software industry, the economics need to be understood. And that's why when liberal arts students are, it may be a sociology for that matter, it may be a languages, it may be a psychology, we require that certain skills need to be developed in the liberal arts and humanities. The skills to be taught in business management and commerce. Okay. See, here again, we are going to talk on the skill, emphasis on the skill. We are very good in teaching the student, as Dr. Kothari mentioned, classroom teaching, which is more of teaching of facts, teaching of concept, teaching of principle, teaching of theories. But it is experience that this is not sufficient to work in the world of work, in workplaces. And that's why we need to give a skills approach, a vocational approach in education, including in the business management and commerce. The skills to be taught in science education, that also we are going to discuss. Not only that, we are going to talk about the skills for interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary education. You know that it's not only restricted to National Education Policy 2020, rather National Education Policy 2020 has promoted interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach, thereby in real sense understand the needs of the industry and society. So then, when our students are working in interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary situation, what type of the skills are required, that we are going to discuss. Then the digital skills in the today's workforce, irrespective of the domain of education, either liberal arts, business management and commerce, or it may be in the area of the sciences. Digital education, digital literacy has become very important, and you all know that how it is being growing. Cyber security, different programming, networking, all has become very important. The life skills for career and life, this is very important. Why it is important? It is important because we are preparing graduates, but it is that education is not a degree certificate. It is a purpose of life. So how is that? We are developing among the students the life skill which will be useful to them in their personal life, in their social life, in their professional life, and whenever they are working in different organizations. So that life skills which are required to be there. Then new area which has emerged because of the creativity and innovation. Basically, we are being educating, we are graduating, undergraduates and postgraduate and research scholars. But how much they are prepared to solve the problems? So problem solving in different domain is important, and that's why we need that in our curriculum. Design thinking skills are to be focused. And the last one, the skills of in artificial intelligence across the discipline. Nowadays, if you want a job, there is very much requirement that the employers are asking about what is the IQ related to artificial intelligence. So what that type of the artificial intelligence skills are required among the students. So my dear professor, have a quick look to this particular slide, which shows about what are the different domains in which skills are required. Obviously, I have understood that the all professors connected to these programs, they're either from the liberal arts, it may be in education or social science, humanities. They are from business management and commerce, and they are from science and technology. Okay. And of course, related field as such. Okay. So this is the one area in which we have to develop. And apart from that, as I mentioned in the blue font, these are the other areas, other skills which you will have to focus on interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary, digital skills, life skills, design thinking skills, and skills in artificial intelligence. In today's session, we are going to deliberate on these different type of skills which you can think that you can bring in your curriculum design and development. And sometimes, if the process of curriculum design and development is ongoing, you can simultaneously prepare your some module so that student can be developed on in these different of skill domain. And that's why this today's session I'm going to discuss is one more my appeal and request to all professors that you may belong to science or you may belong to business management and commerce or liberal arts, but have a holistic picture of higher education requirement. For the purpose of the addressing faculties from the different domain, I'm focusing on the specific discipline. So, but I want every professors, since you are working in the higher education institute, you are working in universities, I know many of you are from different parts of the country, different parts of the demography. And in doing so, we have to go in developing these aspects. So let us begin now that how this part is required, why skilling is required in university education. Basically, why the vocational education and skill education is emphasized in our curriculum, especially in national education policy, is for bridging the gap between education and employability. We are getting graduates. You might have read the report. One of the report of Confederation of Indian Industries says that only 10% of liberal arts and commerce and business management students are getting employed. Why? Because of lack of employability skills. So employers seek graduate with diverse set of skills, including critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork. So these relevant skills must be developed, and that's why we talk that bringing skills in the university education. Integrating hands-on learning opportunities, as I mentioned, of internship or project-based assignments which will help the student to develop the skills. So practical application is required. And obviously, we have to go for developing adaptable skills so that student can get adapted to the rapidly changing job market. You must have seen today that students are very much changing the jobs. In a year or two, they want to jump from one job to the another job. But when they jump to other job, they need to get adapted. And for adapting to the different workplace, work culture, skill set, we need to require to bridge the gap between education and employability. Similarly, we have to focus on the developing the employability skills by developing problem solving skills. Again, this is a irrespective of discipline. Rigorous coursework that challenge students to analyze complex problem and critically can sharpen their decision-making skills. My students of sociology, my students of economics, for that matter, political science students, computer science students, my business management students, they require an analytical thinking. This is the demand of the work because problem solving abilities are very, very important. Even encouraging innovative approaches to problem solving empowers students to develop unique out of the box solution to the real world challenges. This is again applicable to the all domains. Nowadays, we know that we talk about a lot many organic medicines, organic food. So how this we require a lot of creativity into that. The other day I was discussing with one faculty of political science. I asked him, how do you relate political science, sociology, and economics? I'm just giving an example, as an example. Unless and until, unfortunately, that fellow was unable to answer this question, this type of the questions will develop critical situation, critical solutions to the problems in the real world. And obviously, cultivating a growth of mindset and a passion of continuous learning and preparing students to adapt and thrive their future career. This is the demand why we want the vocational skills and the skills in the higher education, in the university education. We require skills in the higher education to foster collaboration and communication skills. We require teamwork. You know that. You are working. Even when my graduate will pass from any discipline, he has to work in a team, and not only team, sometimes these may be a interdisciplinary team or multidisciplinary team. Sometimes he is a leader, sometimes he is a member of a team. He must be able to effectively present. There has to be an intercultural awareness among the students, because as you are going to work in a different type of the industries or workplaces, for that matter, different organization, their cultures are different. Now, even many multinationals have come to India. Many of students are getting job abroad. So their cultures are different. So we need to train them, develop the skill of intercultural awareness. And obviously, we require to develop them a sort of networking skills. And networking is essential. Nowadays, you know that LinkedIn we are using Instagram. Earlier, we used to use Facebook, but you know that nowadays Facebooks are very being little used. More is Instagram and LinkedIn. Why it is my appeal and request to all professors, let it be student from any discipline. Create their account in LinkedIn, create their account in Instagram, so that they get network. Your alumni network has to be very strong. And in this context, we need to develop the networking skills among the students. And obviously, as we say, our students need to be prepared for the evolving job market. Flexibility is one task which is now changing. This is the lifelong learning is there. Entrepreneurship. Because of startup policy, we have seen that there's a huge growth in the entrepreneurship, and hence across the discipline we need to develop them. And obviously technology fluency is important in these days. So in this context, we require our university education need to be deal with the skills education. So the previous slides which I presented before, it talks about why the skills are required in higher education, irrespective to the faculty, irrespective to the domain, discipline that talks about because of the changing type of the job place, changing types of the job, requirements of the employers, digital intervention, and so many things we need to develop the different skills. Now come to one by one, we'll discuss on the different type of the skills which are required in different domain. The first is skills in liberal arts education. So the liberal arts education, humanities, which we talk about sociology, economics, political science, psychology, all these aspects we talk about, and even languages, public administration, all these we talk about the liberal arts in education. Now, I want every one of you at this juncture to visualize rather than thinking, discussing, see where your student can be placed. And then you will find the skill set required are very important in that area in different aspects. For liberal arts student, critical thinking and problem solving is very important. Because liberal arts cultivate the ability to analyze complex issues, evaluate evidences, and draw logical conclusions. And hence, when a student of sociology, psychology, economics, political sciences, education, all these, they must have an analytical mindset. So I many times when I was working with different university, I used to say them that please, the liberal art, that is humanities, education must be equally treated at par with the professional education. Because liberal art is the backbone of the industry. I'm not talking about the engineering industry, I'm talking about the all business and industry. They are equally important, their skills are important. In my opinion, unfortunately, we have not given more emphasis on these. There are some exceptions. Some institutions and universities are doing excellent in the field of liberal arts and in the humanities in education. Here we need to understand, see the situation of the sociology student, economic students, political science students, psychology students, even language. They required a very analyze complex issues, evaluate the evidences. If I'm working to further develop as a student of sociology, if I'm going to develop or going to work on a particular demography of our country or state, I must be able to study the social structure of that colony, that target group, and then think about to bring this community, to bring this target group to bring them, develop their financial abilities, what type of economics is required, whether do we require traditional skills, traditional agricultural, or some potential areas where they have got the skill set. And accordingly, I need to create a political organization structure and administrative structure. So the complex problems are there. And that's why even my proposal through this presentation to all professors that if at all it is a liberal arts, we need to develop the analytical mindset about the students. Then students need to learn an approach of challenge with open mind, considering multiple perspectives to diverse innovative solutions. They must think about that. Creative problem solving skills are required. See the students of economics or psychology. They need to study. They need to study so many things. They need to see social background, family background, economical background, and then come out within a given situation so that we can have an innovative solution. And for that, we require creative problem solving. And obviously, for the liberal arts, since I'm again repeating bold letter and underline, liberal arts graduates are required in different business and industries. And that's why the adaptability, the critical thinking skills gain empower students to navigate ambiguity and pivot effectively in a dynamic environment. And that's why we need to develop the skills among the students of adapting to the situation. So critical thinking and problem solving skills, as I have given few examples, many examples can be given, but because of the time constraint, I'm just sharing with you some example why and what type of the skills are required even in liberal arts education. Effective communication and interpersonal skills. Again and again, I'm not going to say that how they are being neglected. But liberal arts program emphasize the development of clear, persuasive, and engaging written communication. Keep in mind. And that's why written expressions are equally important. It may be a student of psychology or a sociology or economics, any for that matter. The effective communication with a written as a specific has to be there. So how we can develop, and that skill development part of writing communication is important for our student. Even students hone their public speaking skills, fostering confidence in articulating ideas to diverse audience. As I told you sometime before, I am of the firm opinion, based upon my last 40 years of experience in the field of education, higher education, in business and industry, that the graduates of liberal arts are very much required to work in a diverse audience. And hence, their public speaking skills, their confidence, their style or their behavior or their ability to articulate ideas are very important. So whenever we are teaching different courses to the student, we need to try to bring these type of the oral presentation. Oral presentation doesn't mean only communication skills. That's why I have critically mentioned here some pinpointed elaborations onto that. It's mentioned about the public speaking skills, fostering confidence in articulating ideas to diverse audiences. And that is all, that ability need to be developed among the schools. And obviously, our liberal arts students, they work on the interdisciplinary projects. And discussion cultivate teamwork. It requires empathy and ability to work effectively with others. This is the unique nature. You see the students of economics, sociology, psychology, languages, any for these students, they work in a team, they work in a groups, they work, and that's why we need to develop collaborative skill. I have seen students, I've seen the graduates, postgraduate, even research scholars, but I have seen they are not well developed with the collaborative skills. And to be us, we will have to see that how these collaborative skills can be developed among the students along with our curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activity. So collaboration means we want them to develop an interdisciplinary project, teamwork, empathy, and ability to work with others. This is one part is of a curriculum, and second is curriculum delivery. How you are developing these ability through experiential learning, through group discussions, through case studies, through projects is very important. And that's why we all have to come out with the traditional method of teaching and go into the innovative methods. Creativity and innovations. When we were discussing about the generic university education, we talk about this. Now, liberal arts encourage students to think outside the box. So, generating original ideas and unconventional solution, that is the divergent thinking. So, we need to develop among the students the divergent thinking. That divergent thinking, how we can develop? Yes, obviously we can go with the project-based model, project-based approaches. Then, by exploring diverse subjects, students develop the ability to make unexpected connection and spark innovation. And that's why multidisciplinary insight need to be developed. As I given you the solution of political science, social science, and economics. Sometime before I have given the student of economics, they are working excellently in the software industry, or they are working with the production industry to maintain the economics of that particular industry as such. This student of psychology, they are working in different domains. Here, what is required is the ability to work on the multidisciplinary insights. That is what skills we need to develop. And obviously, as being said in National Education Policy, and we have a part of Startup India project, we need to equally develop entrepreneurial mindsets among the students. Because today, for NGOs, for social transformation, consultant for economics, consultant for psychological interventions, all there is a scope for the entrepreneurship. And we need to develop the creative skills fostered in liberal art education and empower students to identify opportunities and turn them into the reality. Even language students have got huge opportunities. We need to develop them the entrepreneurial ability. Earlier, rather prior to the National Education Policy, very little emphasis was given to the entrepreneurial abilities. Okay. But now, not only because of the National Education Policy 2020, but it has supported, it has given us a framework to the changing scenario in the business and industry. And that's why we have to develop this into the. Then obviously, we need to develop the skills of ethical reasoning and decision making. Our students must be taught on developing ethical reasoning and decision making. I think the professors, those who have connected, specifically the faculty from the liberal arts, humanities, We are teaching. No doubt, some of the faculty, some of the institution give emphasis on this development of the skills. But if you see on the larger canvas, these are missing, which, which result into the lack of employability. And that's why liberal arts curriculum should explore ethical theories and principles, equipping students to navigate complex moral, moral dilemmas. Because this is very important for especially liberal arts students. Then how you take the social responsibility? Cultivating the sense of civic duty. You see the liberal arts students, again I'm saying, huge demand. But seen, jobs are not getting. Why jobs are not getting? They are lacking in these skills which are required. Philosophical inquiry. The ability to think critically about the values and beliefs. When you work in an organization, suppose, for example, I'm giving an example why philosophical inquiry is required. Suppose I go to some demographic area, some social sector where there's a disprivileged group which are suffering from, say, AIDS. They are suffering from AIDS. Entire that small target group is suffering from AIDS. Me as a student of psychology, me as a student of sociology, how I can develop a philosophical inquiry so that I can critically understand the values and belief of such type of the target group. This is equally important when my students are working in a IT industry. My graduates are working in IT industry. Their work environment is different. Work culture is different. Our agricultural labor is different. The laborers, those who are working on railway station, in market, in different domains. And that's why these philosophical inquiry skills are very important so that we can apply our abilities, our knowledge into solving the problems. So these aspects, obviously, adaptability and lifelong learning. Already we discussed about the adaptability, but curiosity, natural curiosity and love for learning. So there is need to continuously expand our knowledge. Okay, as I said, you understanding the correlation, multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary approach, new theories which are coming, new economical theory, new sociology theory, new psychological theory, new communication theory. We must be very curious about learning these, and that's why liberal arts education fosters a natural curiosity and love for learning, and this need to be developed. We have to have a flexibility. A well-rounded curriculum prepares students to adapt to the changing market and evolving societal needs. That is where a curriculum, we as a teacher, curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities are to be planned in such a way that we can address this aspect very carefully. Then students learn to efficiently navigate information, identify reliable sources, and apply critical thinking to the new challenges. That is why the ability, the skills of becoming resourcefulness is very important. Today we say that because of the internet, the information is tip of tongue. But that information need to transform into the useful knowledge, useful solution. There are so many resources. Of course, nowadays, artificial intelligence has newly given new dimension to the resourcefulness, but then it has to be very statistically, systematically utilized. And that's why we need to develop these abilities among the students. As I said, the interdisciplinary perspective and synthesis is important. Very quickly, I'm going to finish this slide because already we have discussed. So they must be developed so that they have a holistic understanding of the complex topics beyond their domain. Then they have a multiple viewpoint to appreciate the discipline requirement so that the decisions can be taken. So contextual awareness is important, and obviously intellectual versatility is important. Ability to synthesize information from various sources. When we talk about Bloom's taxonomy and we discuss about the level number 5, synthesis level, they must be able to synthesis. And for that reason, we need to develop this ability among the student. And that's why global perspective, adaptability, collaboration, and lifelong learning is important. So, having known these skills which to be developed among the students, we will see what could be the teaching strategies. Dear professor, though you are not from this discipline, please listen carefully so that it will help you to deliberate onto the different aspects when you are dealing in different courses in your domain. Critical thinking. Engage students in open-ended discussion, case studies, problem-based learning to develop their ability to analyze, evaluate, and make informed decisions. So this critical thinking is very, 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 very good way to develop the ability. So you can have a very open-ended discussion. You can use case studies, and even you can have a problem-based learning to develop critical thinking ability. Interdisciplinary approach. Encourage students to make connection across different fields and apply knowledge in novel context. We have discussed this example. I'm talking in the context of liberal arts. That's why I'm giving you an example. Now, interdisciplinary approach. My student of English language learning Japanese or German and having one minor of the engineering branch, say some mechanical engineering or computer engineering. So this interdisciplinary approach and multidisciplinary approach will encourage students to make the connection across different fields and apply knowledge and novel context. Okay. So this interdisciplinary approach through the projects, through assignment, through internship can be developed among the student. And obviously, communication skills that we are using day to day is fostering opportunities to students to present their ideas, engage in debates, and hone their written and verbal communication abilities. This may be a routine class. Actually, we generally emphasize more on classroom teaching, which is a monologue. Instead of monologue, we should go for a dialogue, and beyond that, peer teaching, group discussion, presentation, seminars, which is structured, systematically organized. And this type of the strategies will help us to develop the communication skill among the students. Critical thinking and problem solving. To cultivate curiosity, encourage students to ask probing questions, explore diverse perspectives and approaches, and have a open discussion. Let them think. So to develop and to cultivate the curiosity among the students, 10 lectures, 15 lectures are not required. Instead, you should go encourage student on asking probing questions. Give them case study or create one episode which will create questions in their mind. Their curiosity is involved, and then we can diversely expose that particular issue and discuss among the student. Guide student in breaking down complex issues, identify underlying assumption, and logically evaluating evidences to reach well-reasoned conclusion. So fostering analytical abilities. It may be a sociology, it may be a psychology, it may be an economics, it may be a languages for that. So we must student to guide. Say for example, I'm giving an example of a psychology in a particular group of industry. There is something related to the labor force, and these labor force are excellent, but they lack in one or two critical areas. For example, meeting the target example. Second, they may be lacking on the aspect of mutual communication. So give this case study to the student. Foster analytical ability. Ask them to break down this problem into complex problem into a smaller issue, why it is happening, and then let them come to a decision. This side of the approach we have to use. Provide opportunities to the student to think outside the box, generate innovative ideas, and experiment with novel approaches to problem solving. Encourage creative solutions. We have to come out with a creative solution. How a particular target can be brought out of the box. So here, my student of liberal art required creative solutions that can be developed by thinking outside the box. A thorough understanding is very important. Thinking out of the box. Of course, thinking out of the box is not very easy. We have to very systematically articulate the problem so that something can be thought of. Something can be thought of. I will give an example. Today I'm giving an example. Many of you might be knowing a very popular story about the Mumbai's Dabe Wala, Tiffin Wala. Mumbai's Dabe Wala was once upon so popular, they were invited to the Harvard School, they were invited to London, IITs, IIM to understand their management. Now, due to the change in the work culture, due to the change in the business strategy, now can we think about what we can do for this Mumbai's Dabewala? Can we come out, think of out of box? Can we think of cloud kitchen? Can we think of having a similar type of other supply chain management? So we have to think like this. And this is need to be developed. Of course, I'm giving a general solution related to liberal arts, but specific to sociology students, economic students, political science, language students, psychology students. You can think of these aspects and think them into development. Then emphasize the adaptability, equip students with the flexibility to adjust their strategies and perspective in response to the changing circumstances and new information. And very good strategy is taking them to the internship, experiential learning, which will help their abilities to work into that. How you can enhance effective communication? For enhancing effective communication, emphasize on active listening. Encourage students to fully engage with speakers. Ask clarifying questions. and provide thoughtful feedback to demonstrate their understanding. See, I used to conduct, I just sharing with you and my own experience. In 1986, of course, I'm a bit senior to all of you. I have 40 years of experience. But in 1986, I undergone one training. There I studied study skills. That time my age was 27. And those study skills taught by the trainer, how to read, how to write, how to listen, how to go for mind mapping, how to manage time. I got so much motivated, inspired. I developed my own plan for that and went on training students and faculty on study skills. There I have understood that we do not give emphasis on active listening. We need to see, basically, when we talk of these all aspects, when we talk about these all aspects, we have to very carefully see that unless and until you create a episode, you create a learning experience, it is not going to happen. Concise expression, when they work with interdisciplinary project, different project, concise expression is important. Guide student in organizing their ideas, using precise language, and delivering clear and compelling message, whether in writing or verbal presentation. We need to create a learning experience for that. See, these are the micro skills, my dear professors. But these, of course, when I'm talking about liberal arts, they are equally required even for the business management and commerce. They are also required in the science education. But right now, my emphasis is on the liberal arts. Then empathetic approach in any profession will be required. So foster an environment where students can express their perspective with confidence, also considering viewpoints and emotions of others. Group discussions, role play, you can play. You can select the topic from your own domain, either a sociology, economics, science, any domain, and foster the environment in such a way that students are confidently speaking and expressing their viewpoint among the students. And obviously, we have to have a multimedia fluency is important. Nowadays, we use different digital media. Even today, we got connected with the Zoom, we get WebEx, we get Google, and even we get social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all these things. So provide opportunities for the student to utilize various digital tools and platform to enhance the impact of creativity of their communication. Of course, LinkedIn, you can definitely can use that. You can use MOOC courses. You can use Swayam courses, NPTEL courses, where students' multimedia fluency will get enhanced. So we all have to work on that particular area to develop the effective communication among the students. Creativity and innovations. The tools that you can encourage, develop is explore unconventional ideas, challenge assumption, and consider multiple perspectives to foster innovative solution. So divergent thinking is important. Divergent thinking. Because students are all the way geared up with the conventional thinking. X plus Y is equal to Z, or 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. No, 1 plus 3 is equal to 5. How? That divergent thinking we have to develop. So encouraging students and thinking out of box, and for that again you have to create a episode. Very importantly, we require to promote experimentation. The creativity and innovation is only possible when we promote the experimentation among the student. So student must be given, of course, with a safe environment for student to take risk, experiment with new approaches, and learn from their failures. Okay. So experiential learning, application of the theories, application of the principles, and experimenting them, trying them out, making them understand about the risk, and following the newer approach to solve the problems. Because as you are all professor, you must have experienced that when you deal with the students, unless sometimes you go with a little bit experimentation part, you try something else onto the students so that they get involved into the learning experience. So in that fashion, we need to pat into that. Then obviously we have to leverage interdisciplinary correction. That's very important, that student must have a diverse field of study. Okay, they're blending their ideas and techniques with the original concept. The same example I have given. So student, you can encourage them while teaching only. Whatever I'm telling you, my dear professor, it is not to be separately conducted. You prepare your instructional system design, your lesson plan in such a fashion that what content I'm teaching, what concept, what principles, what theories, and what skills can be developed. And obviously, we have to go with this systematic planning, which will help in the development of student into that. Then foster imaginative expressions. Nowadays, you must have heard about the storytelling, design thinking and problem solving. I'm going to deal separately, but these will take the student innovative potential. So foster imaginative expression. Generally, what happens, in our curriculum, again, I'm telling you, there are expression, but irrespective of any domain, it may be a science and technology, it may be business management and commerce, or it may be a liberal art, humanities, for that matter. We give more emphasis on the theoretical aspect, practical aspect. We don't give sufficient scopes to the student for imagination, expression. I don't know whether you have visited one website. India Innovation is the one website. I'm going to share one story, and then I will proceed further to discuss on the subsequent topics. In that part, there was one, it's a little bit old story, when newly mobile phones were introduced in our country. In the state of Gujarat, one illiterate farmer was having a land at about a distance of 5 kilometers from his hometown. He used to irrigate that 5 acres of land with electric motor. With his experience, he came to know that the land which is divided into different parts, how much time is required to water that particular part of the land. Because he used to work in the farms, in the land for a long time, duration. After the introduction of the mobiles, this illiterate farmer came with an idea, imaginative idea. He said that if I can call one person to other by mobile, can I start my motor from my home? I will give a call, motor will start. I will give another call, motor will stop. Can SIM card be bolted onto the motor? This was his imagination. He took the help of engineers and he was succeeded. But the patent, the innovation went in the name of the farmer, that illiterate person. See, the same way, I have seen many students from the rural area, but they have potential. Every student have got the potential, irrespective they are from the rural or urban or semi-urban or metro. But we must foster them so that they can apply the knowledge into this. Now, coming to the skill development in the business communication. So, professors, this was in liberal arts. I'm sure my professor from business management and commerce must have listened to these sessions carefully, this part of the session, even science faculty and technology faculty. Similarly, now I'm going to discuss to you on to the business education, and I'm going to also discuss on science education. And then I'll come to the different generic skills which are required. I'm sure every slide will give, rather give means add to your teaching skill. Rather, what I am expecting, rather, what I will appeal, new ideas will generate in your mind. Because since being connected visually, sorry, by the internet, we are not very closely working. We are not face to face. I may not be able to understand everybody, each one's what thing going in their mind when I'm teaching, when I'm discussing all these points. You might be having innovative ideas. We need to very systematically work. So this is how we go. Now, skill development in business education. We discuss about the liberal arts. Now we'll discuss about the what skill developments are required in the business management part of that. Fundamental business skills, effective communications, problem-solving expertise, and critical thinking process. Okay, this is very important. Now you will find these are required to every domain. But for again coming to the fundamental of business, mastering written, verbal, and presentation skill to convey ideas clearly and persuasively. Perseverance is very important. Patience and perseverance is very important. And that's why effective communication in the business management and commerce is must. Problem solving expertise. Developing analytical abilities to identify challenges, evaluate options, and implement innovative solutions is very important, because you know today the market is so fluctuating, huge competition, huge technology invention, and at the same time market is globally available. So how we can develop this aspect? And obviously for that, cultivating the capacity to analyze information, thinking strategically, and make informed decision. Critical thinking is very important to the student. So these fundamental skills are required to the students of business management and commerce. As I said sometime before, you can apply this to the any domains of education, because entrepreneurship is one more avenue for our profession in our career. So you can use this. But fundamentally, in the business skills, these have to be developed. And again, we will come to that particular slide, how we can develop this, something already we have discussed. Again, we will also discuss in the subsequent slide as well. These are the fundamental business skills. Let us move to the next skill, specialized technical skills. Accounting, finance, and data analytics. We are teaching courses, subjects on accounting, finance and manager, data analytics to some extent, but now we have to teach it more. But to our student of business management and commerce, mastering the fundamentals of financial reporting, budgeting, and cost management to ensure organizational financial health. These skills are must. You may ask me a question or you will respond me, sir, we are teaching this in a to different courses. Yes, you're teaching, but we are teaching concepts, principles, theories, and application. We want to solve problems. How the cost can be managed? How can be a competitive management? What type of the processes can be used? What techniques can be used? How the budget can be reported? How the budgeting can be done? So accounting expertise is very important. Financial acumen, developing proficiency in financial analysis, investment strategies, and capital budgeting to drive informed business decision. Try to understand, my professors, why students are not getting employment, because they are graduate, they are learning this subject, but capital budgeting, its role in the business management, financial analysis of our own company, market, investment analysis, what type of the investment strategies has to be there. We should have a master key. Master key doesn't mean a theoretical concept. We need to develop a competency skills into that. And for that, we need to develop a variety of tools and take the students on the experiential learning and the projects to work into that. And for that, obviously, we require data analytics cross. So data-driven insight. Nowadays, data analysis, data science has become very important, on which my couple of slides, I'm going to talk about it at the end. But then data analytics is very important because everything in the business goes data-driven. So data-driven insight through statistical modeling, predictive forecasting, and business intelligence tools to uncover market trends and optimize operation. This is all of statistics, data science, and mathematics. And that's why our students of business management and commerce must be very good in mathematics too, because modeling has to be done. Statistical interventions are required, and those skilling is important. See, again, coming to the point that only graduate certificate is not sufficient. The industry, the business demand skilled manpower, and these are the skills which are required to be developed among the students of business commerce. Then interpersonal skills. This is common to every domain: teamwork, leadership, and negotiation. But here, when I'm talking about business management and commerce, along with teamwork, leadership and negotiations are very, very important. So, cultivating the ability to collaborate productivity with a diverse group, leverage individual strength, and foster a cooperative work environment is a task, is a skill. Keep in mind, this effective teamwork has got different edge. It says that cultivating the ability to collaborate productively with a diverse group, leverage individual strength, and foster a cooperative work environment. So we need to create an episode, learning experience, that when you are teaching them organizational behavior type of the courses, this to be developed. Visionary leaderships, developing the skills to inspire and motivate teams, make strategic decisions, and guide organization towards achieving their goals is very important. It's very important. You know, you all are agree because you're all professors. You know that to lead any business as an entrepreneur or as a manager or as a business owner, I need to have a visionary leadership which will inspire, motivate, make strategic decision, and we want to develop these skills. Just giving one example, I had meeting with two different types of the groups. In one institute, I was discussing with the students and faculty of business management and commerce. I asked them a very simple question. And that question was, why strategic planning is done? I couldn't get satisfactory answer. When I went to next meeting, next group target, they were able to say, see, the students of business management and commerce, why strategic planning is required, they were unable to told, they were unable to convince me. What is the base? What is the premise on which strategic plan is done? Not known to my student. And even, please excuse me, my faculty members. But this is required in the world of work. So we need to develop this visionary leadership among the students. And obviously, the mastering the art of negotiation to reach mutual benefit agreement and to reach to the value driven outcomes, negotiation skills are very important. So in this particular slide, these are three skills we need to develop. I'm thinking, and you must be thinking, that then what should be the type of teaching should happen? Again and again, I'm trying to tell you, rather, my emphasis on integrating these skills into your day-to-day teaching. Instead of having more of classroom teaching, which is of monologue in nature, you divide the class, you use the student-centric methods, wherein we will be able to develop these abilities among the student. Entrepreneurial skills. Obviously, the students being the students of business management and commerce, they have to have a entrepreneurial skills, innovations, risk taking, opportunity identification. This skill need to be developed, and you know that there are different games, and through that games, the innovations can be developed, risk taking can be tested, the opportunities can be developed. So cultivating the ability to think outside the box, challenge assumptions, and devise novel solution to the complex business challenges. You have a many business examples before you. Okay. The once upon a time, when we used to use a particular type of the cars in the market, Fiat and Ambassador, okay, even scooter for that matter, and but it was a closed economy. But now it's an open economy. When we go for an open economy, we require in our student to develop a creative problem solution. And that's why always I give the student an example of how the different business groups are expanding and not expanding, diverting in different areas, different domains. In a similar fashion, this cultivating the ability to think outside the box need to be developed to be a good graduate of the business management and commerce. Developing the courage to embrace uncertainty, experiment with new ideas, and take calculated risks that can lead to the transformative opportunities. You require a lot of case studies for that. See, when I'm saying to any student of business management and commerce, I look to them as a business manager, as an entrepreneur. And so is to so, if I'm even employing that graduate into my company, I will look for the innovations into that. But that skill need to be developed when we are teaching students in the class. And opportunity identification, honing the skills to recognize untapped market needs, anticipate industry trends, and uncover explored avenues for business growth and diversification. These are the skills, these are the abilities. And if we go into depth of the curriculum of our undergraduate and postgraduate curriculum of our universities, of course, there are few exceptions. Very little emphasis is given on developing these skills. I don't want, when I'm saying I, means business and industry don't want the students who are just in a degree certificate. We want them who are having skill, who are having the vocational, they're ready to work, effective communication skill, new ideas, innovative, creative, teamwork. So we need to develop this skill for the employability. Digital literacy. So lot of productivity softwares are there, data visualization softwares are there. Nowadays, digital marketing is also happening. You all know better. You all know because day to day we go for a digital marketing. You can have a data visualization, and we have a cloud-based collaboration for tools, AI powered for the workflows and boost efficiency. So our students nowadays have to be introduced to the digital literacy. So curriculum need to modify, and that's why National Education Policy 2020 has given emphasis on vocational education. It has also given emphasis on the digital literacy. It has also given emphasis on the experiential learning and internship, interdisciplinary approach and multidisciplinary approach, because unless and until our students are fit to the job, they cannot become entrepreneur, they cannot get employment. And that's why our curriculum need to be developed, redesigned in this context and transform them on the skill-based platform on vocationalization of education. So mastering the latest productivity software, developing fluency in data visualization techniques, and gaining expertise in the digital marketing strategies, that is to be done and to be developed among the students into that. Whenever we come to the business management, here also ethical decision making plays a role. I need not give the example of Tata. Tata is known for ethical decision making. When you are navigating a complex business scenario, when you're competing in the world of dynamic world of the business, we must grapple the ethical dilemmas. And we must know what is right and wrong. And that's why our education must foster on the moral reasoning skill to navigate them intrinsic situation. And that's why lot of case studies you can introduce among the students, but developing ethical decision making. Okay, it's very important. It's very important. At this juncture, again, quickly, I want to give one example. I was listening to the Honorable Prime Minister dialogue during COVID with the scientist, Indian scientist working abroad. In one of the conversation, the one moment came when one of the Indian scientists working abroad mentioned, sir, you have many IITs, IIM, Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Management. But now we need to create new IITs. And the name of that IIT will be Indian Institute of Trust. Trust. So see how it is important globally when we have to grow our business management. So, of course, doesn't mean that it is not required for other education, but in the ethical decision making is equally essential here. Global mindset. As we know that there is a globally business opportunities are available. So cross-cultural awareness and international business practices. What are the international business practices? What are the cross-cultural awareness that is must be known to all? Of course, international business law is equally important to build. So whenever we are cultivating the global mindset, it's very important that to be a diverse cultures, what are the customs, what are the communication styles that we need to incorporate into our education in our curriculum. And that's why global mindset in the today's context is very important. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, our India country has really providing leadership globally. And in this case, we need to train our students equally on the cross-cultural skills, abilities, international business practices. And that's why we need to conduct so many activities into this part of the session. And obviously, here we also require to have and monitor very critically on the development of continuous professional development. Continuous professional development is essential when students are working and developing their ability into the working of lifelong learning. So this continuous upskilling is required, growth mindset is required, diverse perspectives are required, embracing changes are required. My dear professor, you are quite aware that India has highest populations who are youngs. These youngsters has got global opportunities, not only India, provided they are skill-based. And that's why even country like Germany is hiring the skilled manpower from India. And that's why we as a student of business management and commerce should also know and understand the new mindset and adapt to the changing technology, changing industry trends, and shifting the market demands. Lot of market demands are changing. And for that, because if I'm a graduate of a business management of commerce, for me, whatever industry or business I start is secondary. Very important is my business skills. So embracing change. Then going for a continuous upskilling. And that's why make student exposure to the formal training, workshops, some conferences, give them internship, have a very professional who will maintain the professional age on the ever-changing landscape. And that is how we have to develop these aspects. Growth mindset we need to develop. The individual must be able to view the challenges and opportunities for the improvement. If we say that, no, yeah, nothing is possible, no. The word nothing is possible is gone now. Everything is possible. So, but then if I have a skills, I have an ability, and that growth mindset we need to develop, and obviously we need diverse perspective among the students. So when we talk of these aspects, when we talk of all these aspects, we have to go and change into this. Now, what teaching strategies we will use while doing so? I know again, few will be the repetition, few will be knowing to you, few I'm going to add, because by just telling you the skills requirement, my job doesn't get over. I'm going to tell you about the teaching strategies. Now, analytical and decision-making skills, you can equip student the ability of gathering this data, decision-making by giving them complex problem. So problem solving and decision-making is very important. For development of team skill and collaboration, foster opportunities to the student to work in diverse team, delegate responsibilities, communicate effectively, and leverage collective strength to achieve shared goals. Give them, can I do something like that for the teamwork and collaboration in the first year itself? depending upon students' self-interest, develop the business groups and ask them to learn, ask them to collaborate, ask them to market, ask them to go to work into the, so that they develop the skills and ability. Okay? So that a project can be given, a comprehensive project can be given across 3 years or 4 years of program, so that student can develop. Encourage students to think like entrepreneurs, recognize market opportunities, taking calculated risks. Give this task also. Identify students who has got the entrepreneurial ability. You know that there are so many tests which identify the abilities among the student. Check those students. There are students having good abilities. Some are the border case. Some are can be a good team worker. So you can develop a good teamwork, good strategies, and can be work on. Even you can, for that matter, collaborate. Like, for example, we have, I'm working right now with JSPM University Pune. We have collaborated with one of the pharmaceutical industry, and our pharmacy students are doing marketing to develop entrepreneurial ability with that pharmacy company. One example I'm giving you. So this mindset we need to develop among the students. So these strategies can be there. When we talk about developing this aspect of analytical and decision making, we need to again give them complex data. Okay. Data-driven insight need to be properly developed. We need to really give them some case studies and critically evaluate why success is there, why failure is there. Ask them to find what is the risk, what could be alternatives to them. Ask them to make the evidences. So critical evaluation can be done by giving them case studies in a group and ask them to solve the problem. For adaptive mindset, you can encourage students to approach problem solving with flexibility and adapting their strategy with decision making process. This we can very nicely call for giving them again a different situation. One very good in one domain of business, put in second domain. And likewise, we can go on developing and you can use into that. Teamwork and collaboration, this can be developed. Collaborative problem solving. Foster group to exercise that require students to combine their diverse perspective. Suppose you are in a university. You have a student from different discipline. Make a collaborative and group for the problem solving, developing this teamwork and collaboration. So even if you have an engineering or pharmacy or management student or psychology student, commerce student, and even economic student, bring them to solve one problem so that they will look and work in a collaboratively in solving the problem. In real sense, we can give them. Share the accountability. Always, always, always focus student for collective responsibility. Don't you, let them do. Assign the task and encourage students to take collective responsibility. Let them plan. Let them be and make them accountable for whatever activity they are planning for. Same way we can have a teamwork can be work for effective communication. And similarly, very important is conflict resolution. This skill need to be developed. Teamwork and collaboration is that major skill required micro skill of conflict resolution. You know that teamwork and collaboration is equally is successful when there is effective communication, there is a shared accountability, when there is a collaboration, and you must be able to conflict the resolution. So you need to be, you as a professor, you need to design a problem wherein a situation is created where conflicts are there, and ask the student to solve the conflict. So as a part of the curriculum, you can go in designing these various aspects among the student as a whole. Now coming to the third domain of education in university education, skills in science education. Here again, whenever I'm talking about the science, is of course technology is there, no doubt about it, because application of science is technology. It's not science means only physics, chemistry, but it also means a biological science, pharmaceutical science. So all sciences will be there into that. What skills are required when to student will go into the work? In workplaces, the students are preferred having greater skills. My faculty of the science and technology who are connected with this program, they must be knowing that one of the reports says that only 25% of the graduates are employable, and they lack in the skills. Again, I'm giving you the reference of Indian Labor Report 2024, where also it is mentioned about the skills. Now, in coming to the fundamental skills in the science, proficient lab techniques and experimental methods for data collection. Emphasis on this fundamental skill. Mastery of scientific instrumentation and equipment operation. Keen observation skills and the ability to interpret and empirical evidences. My faculty members, those who are from the Faculty of Liberal Arts and Commerce and Business Management, you may sometimes think that, why this is important for me? But just sometime before we discuss that, how the interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary knowledge is important. Because if you are teaching your student of liberal arts or business and commerce, if you have a little age of science education, science skills, that will add to the value of student employment, their knowledge base. So from that viewpoint, of course, few are the common skill, which also I'm going to discuss in this aspect. So proficient lab techniques and experimental methods, mastering of scientific instrumentation and equipment operation, and keen observation skills and ability to interpret empirical evidences. My dear professor, I'm very open to you. I'm here to interact with you, to have a dialogue with you, to share my experiences. And out of my experiences, I've been even in engineering and technology, we have seen in many places, majority of the students lack in these fundamental skills. The SOPs, the experimental methods, the laboratory techniques, operation of equipments, observation skills are lacking, and we need to develop among the students. Then critical thinking and problem solving in context to science students. Analytical reasoning skills, identifying core issues, and develop innovative solution. It may be related to any molecule, it may be related to any material, it may be related to any atom. So we must be able to analytically reason. We should have skills to analytically go through that particular, why this molecule or why this process or why this product is not giving the desired outcome. What are the core issues into that? Whether core issues in the basic material or processes or in experimentation, and they must come into that. Cultivate creative problem-solving techniques and leveraging divergent and convergent thinking. Creative problem-solving. When my student will go and work in the industry, there they have to go for a creative problem solving. What is the meaning of creative problem solving, divergent and convergent thinking? It's because in my class, I'm teaching concepts, I'm teaching principles, I'm teaching theories and laws. But when I come to a production, there I want specific requirement. I want coolant to be manufactured. I want a detergent to be used or disinfectant to be developed, manufactured. So the concept is same, principle is same, material is same, but process will change. So what type of the process is there? The cement which is manufactured, the concrete which is prepared is of such a variety, but I must know that if I'm working below water, underwater, then what type of concrete is required? What type of chemical properties I need to select? So this divergent and convergent thinking is required. And we must learn, evaluate evidence objectively and challenging assumptions and draw logical conclusions. This is very important for the science graduate. It doesn't mean not required for the other domains, but evaluate evidence objectively, because entire formulation, entire outcome depends on this. So critical thinking and problem solving is very important for the students of science. Similarly, experimental design methodology. How are going to formulate the hypothesis? Begin by developing clear, testable hypotheses that drive your experimental approach, that will create data collection. It's not only related to the experimental research, but science experimentation too. Select appropriate method in the research as well as in the experimentation, and follow the SOP. So, to me, if I'm going to go for a laboratory situation or a shop floor situation or a production situation, in that case, I must be able to develop a good hypothesis. What type of experimental approach is required? What type of experiment is to be done? What data is required? What type of experimental activity is to be done? And I must follow the norms, a standard operating procedure as per the standards and norms to upon that. And this policy, this ability must be there in the student. Another important pass to the student is a communication only, but communication related to the scientific communication and presentation. See, business communication and scientific communication and presentation, and teamwork, which we saw in the liberal arts. In the scientific communication, effectively communicating scientific findings is crucial for advancing knowledge and impacting real-world applications. Student will master these techniques to convey complex idea through dynamic, visually engaging presentation and captivate diverse audiences. It's important. It's very important, because if I'm a man who's an entrepreneur, my background is not science, but I'm going for some product. So I'm going to attend a meeting of the scientists who are going to present me about new product, production, processes, etc., etc. So scientific communication and presentation is must into this matter. And this is very important. Not only as an entrepreneur or as a scientist, but even when you are working in a laboratory, for each course, for each subject, our student must know how the scientific communications and presentations are made, how the data is collected, how it is tabulated, how the results are drawn, how conclusions are made, how interpretations are done, and how the hypothesis is tested. They must have a proper connection between these aspects of that. Similarly, ethical considerations in science. We know that bombs, missiles, everything is an application of science. But at the same time, ethics are important, integrity. Because if I'm doing something for my country or something for my organization, integration with the organization to the country is important. So we need to develop a skill, uphold the highest standard of honesty and transparency in all on scientific aspects. Objectivity. We must develop among the students the objectivity. These are unique skills that is required for the science graduate. Doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be do with business, but objectivity in the science is important because entire process and procedures and equipment are very important. Then only we'll get the valid decisions, valid results of that. Social responsibility. Consider the broader societal and environmental impact of scientific discoveries and strive to use knowledge for greater good. This ability we need to develop among the students. So that's why sometime before I mentioned about organic food, organic fertilizers, organic medicines. So all this has come because of the social responsibility. So when we are working in the sciences, equally we have to take into the matter about the social responsibility and informed consent. It's very important in the science. Doesn't mean that it is not required in the other discipline, but we have to protect our rights, our knowledge. And in that context, we have to obtain a voluntary informed consent for the research. This is very important. Either you are working in any industry, when the student will go and work industry, they will take the consent form about maintaining integrity, so and so and so on, whatever the policies of the organization. So, but when we are teaching our student to become a graduate, to become a science graduate, we must teach them about this sort of the aspect for the well-being of the society. In doing so, obviously, we have to go for a interdisciplinary collaboration. I need not say to you, because science is working in different domain. They are working in food industry, they are in agriculture, they are in pharmacy, they are in engineering industry, they are in so many. So diverse expertise is important. So the unique perspective and specialized knowledge of expert across the discipline to tackle complex scientific challenges. And that's why national education policy focus is given on the multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach. We need to teach them. Then engage in dynamic discussions, innovative problem solving, teamwork, impactful discoveries. This need to be developed. And that's why these days we go for a mini project and minor project whenever we go for the student of science. So for the student science, we need to focus more on to the synergistic teamwork, because we required to work on a collaborative environment where open communication, mutual respect, sheer passion of discovery will take you to the research finding. Because if for a pharmacy, one single molecule is evolving, developing is very difficult task, challenging task. So we require to have a synergistic teamwork into that. from the different disciplines. Similarly, when we work for any molecule for the different discipline, different types of the diseases, we need to have the collaboration with different type of the teamwork, different type of the experts. So innovative problem solving, diverse expertise, synergic teamwork is very important. And obviously, impactful discoveries in science doesn't mean again and again in commerce and liberal arts it is not there, but reaching to the implication and tangible social benefits, science plays very important role. And that's why impactful discoveries should be developed among the students, taking their own native problem, their experience problem. You can deal with that. You can work in a diverse team. Ma'am, in next 15 minutes, I'll come. 15 minutes. Yes. Dear Professor, sorry, I had some other meeting, of course, but I'll finish by 5:30 only, don't worry. So this is why we need to work on the different domains with different expertise as such. And as a science graduate, as we discuss in the rest of the aspect, lifelong learning and adaptability is equally important. So all this continuous development is required, adaptability is there, intellectual curiosity is there. This lifelong learning is very important for us. Now, what are the teaching strategies for science education? Data analysis and interpretation. Here you have to engage students in hands-on experiment and research projects that develop their ability to collect, analyze, and interpret scientific data to draw meaningful conclusions. So data analysis and interpretation, this skill can be developed by engaging students. Many of the professors must be working on some research projects, or if not, collaborate with some research organization, some research institution, so that student will get the experience of data analysis and interpretation. Inquiry-based learning. Foster a curiosity-driven approach that encourages students to ask questions, formulate hypotheses, and design investigation to deepen their understanding of scientific concepts and phenomena. Here you can give them minor project, give them case studies, give them some success story, give them some fail study, give them some formulation, some material, some product for study, so that they can develop the inquiry, how it is developed, what formulations are there, what material there, what methodology might be there, might have been used. So from the real life problem to a case studies, to a different models, you can experimentation, you can give them. And obviously we have to go for a interdisciplinary connections. Means science students with mathematics, with technology, with engineering, for solving the real problems, complex problems, we need to work onto that. And that's why nowadays we have a science exhibitions. And in science exhibition, why we show students? Because they used to get to see the application of science in engineering, in real life, in agriculture, in technology, in medicine, in medical education, in health sciences. So that's why we have to go for a interdisciplinary connections, where you can create a connections among the student for the data analysis and interpretations. Very important skills that to be developed. Cultivating analytical mindset. Again, here we have to go with a experimentation. Data collection, their critical and analytical lens, identifying the patterns, trends. So all, whenever it's made physics or a chemistry or a biology, when you are doing the experimentation, try to analyze, give them, develop the ability to learn from unknown to known, develop their own hypothesis. And that's why we have to give them more and more hands-on experimentation. You can develop a hobby lab in your institution where students can do the experimentation. And when we talk of interdisciplinary approach or multidisciplinary approach, hobby lab will help you, or a project lab which is in the institution will give an institution an opportunity to train students on hands-on experimentation. Okay. At the same time, we have to guide students on the interpreting the complex data. Especially this we do for the postgraduate students. Whenever postgraduate students are there, involve them in the projects. And when the scientific presentation, there are multiple ways. There are multiple ways where you can use this, interpreting the complex data based upon the case studies, based upon the experimentation, based upon the research work. But this ability we need to develop, and we need to guide the student in interpreting the complex scientific data, graphs, charts, models, etc., etc., etc. And nowadays, definitely we are using different softwares, and you must expose students. I know in the chemistry, in mathematics, in physics, you are using different software. You must exposure them to that. Now, coming after having discussion on different domains, we discuss about the overall national education policy is emphasis on the vocational skill development. We discuss about different India labor report and different papers. And we have tried to develop a context of skills in university education. And then we jump to specific to liberal arts, specific to business management and commerce, specific to the science, what skills are required, and what are the teaching strategy for them. Now, with the National Education Policy 2020, some more skills are required among the students, which quickly I am going to cover in the next presentation. Now, in every discussions, when we are discussing about the skills in the liberal art, skills in business management, and skills in science education, we made mention of the significance of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary skills. It means the incorporation of these aspects in national education policy is emerged through the requirement of business and industry. So, when we talk about interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approaches, it is for all of you that interdisciplinary approaches combine multiple academic discipline to provide more comprehensive understanding of complex issues. Again, I am reading. Interdisciplinary approaches combine multiple academic discipline to provide a more comprehensive understanding of complex issues, and multidisciplinary approaches involve the coordinated application of different disciplinary perspectives to address a common problem or topic. Both approaches foster the integration of knowledge, innovative thinking, and the ability to tackle real-world challenges from diverse angles. So we require interdisciplinary, we require multidisciplinary, because that is very important for us to work in the today's context. Because my graduates, I don't know where he will get employment or in which area he will start. And so the importance of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary skills are required to equip students with broader, more adaptable skill set to tackle complex and real world problems. Foster critical thinking, innovation, and ability to approach challenges from multiple perspectives, and prepare graduates for evolving job market that value cross-functional collaboration and interdisciplinary expertise. See, my dear professors, you are from different disciplines, different domain of education, but see how it is important for us to bring or develop interdisciplinary and multiple disciplinary skills because of the development of critical thinking, innovation, adaptability, and to have a evolving job market. This is very important for us to develop. And hence, very critical thinking and problem solving go very well. Whatever we discussed previously, the same is there. We work on the student on problem solving, analysis, drawing inferences, communication, and problem solving. So the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approaches cultivate essential critical thinking and problem solving abilities. So students learn to analyze complex issues from diverse perspectives, think creatively, and devise innovative solutions that draw upon knowledge from multiple fields. And that's why now whenever we talk on curriculum offering as majors and minors, minors are given from different disciplines other than my core branch, which will help me to work in this area. Effective communication and collaboration. Why the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary skills are important? Because they promote effective communication and collaboration. Why we should develop among the students interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary skills? So that in tomorrow's world of work, he or she may be a arts graduate, commerce graduate, or science graduate, or any other graduate for that matter. The interdisciplinary skills like effective communications and collaboration will foster his or her ability to work. Similarly, adaptability and flexibility. We know that when we work, embracing the change is going to be happen. So how do we go with this aspect? How we make students to equip with these changes and collaborate versatilely. My student of commerce must be able to work in the marketing section of the any automobile company. My student of psychology must be able to work very excellently in the software company. So this interdisciplinary approach is going to be very important. That is how we have to develop into that. While doing so, the interdisciplinary approach is also important for ethical reasoning and decision making. Generally, till today, of course, there are always exceptions are there. The curriculum was having a multifaceted or multidisciplinary approach. But now, due to the national education policy, the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach is there to develop the skills of moral framework, social responsibility, professional integrity, and nuanced judgment. To me, I'm a good science graduate, or I'm a good commerce graduate, or an arts graduate. But unless and until I have a moral framework of all domains of education, I'm having a knowledge of social responsibility and professional integrity, which can be make me more successful in my business or employment. And that's why these skills we need to develop into that. And in that context, equally, we have to focus on integrating across these disciplines. Holistic perspective. Synthesize insight from multiple fields. Interdisciplinary frameworks. Apply cross-disciplinary models and theories, multifaceted analysis, leverage diverse data source and viewpoint. It's very important. I'm teaching student a commerce. Take the example of pharmaceutical business. I'm teaching students about economics. Take the example of sociology. So I need my student to have a holistic perspective so that wide openings are available, and not only that, that skill set is required in today's world of work. Because you know very well, openings are available in different domains. But then, if student doesn't have a holistic perspective, how it is going to develop? So then interdisciplinary framework and multifaceted analysis that we want to develop. My dear professor, every moment I'm thinking of one thing, being I'm also a teacher, that how I'm going to develop this through my curriculum. So one approach, redesigning the curriculum. Second approach, redesigning the teaching strategies. Third approach, making holistic education through curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular activity. And obviously, internship, experiential learning will give value to that aspect. So ultimately, we have to prepare students for the evolving job market. So, and that's why we have to have a cross-functional expertise. Let student of marketing, let the student of science, any student give for the cross-functional expertise. Interdisciplinary skill equip graduates with versatile knowledge and ability to collaborate across the function. Lifelong learning mindset, innovative problem solving, interdisciplinary collaboration, because in the today's market, okay, I must have a domain knowledge, but what are the parallel or innovative approaches which can be possible to my students? Coming to the digital skills in higher education. Now, we discussed that in the very beginning, we talk about the digital literacy and the National Education Policy 2020. The focus of university education is also digital skills development, digital literacy, use of technology, not only restricted to science and technology, but in all sectors of education and university. Let us see, my dear professors, you are the ambassadors of your universities, of your state, of your institute, of your domain. During this Madan Mohan Malviya teacher training program for sensitization of National Education Policy 2020, you are going to get different experiences. You have your own philosophy of education. I'm damn sure that such type of interactions will enhance your ability to deliver student to the education and ultimately serve the society. So every moment we have to try that how we can develop. So you are the ambassadors, may not be immediately, maybe immediately, but gradually in steps, you have to go for curriculum design, redesign, instruction system design, and developing curriculum so that our students become employable. So is the digital skills in higher education. Especially for the liberal art faculties, proficient digital research and information literacy skills to effectively navigate online resources and database is important. My liberal arts student, whenever we talk what type of digital skills are required, proficient digital research and information literacy skills to effectively navigate online resources and database. Fluency in digital writing and multimedia storytelling to communicate ideas through various digital mediums. You must be very much good in digital writing, okay, content writing. When we say digital writing, it is a content writing, audio, visual, script writing, etc., etc. So fluency in digital writing and multimedia storytelling to communicate ideas through various digital medium, because my liberal arts, we know they are working across the society. Competence in data analysis and visualization tools to interpret and present qualitative and quantitative information. There's a huge demand. The students are not getting jobs because of lack of digital literacy. And for the liberal education student, we can introduce these skills among the student as such. Digital skills for business management and commerce faculties. Proficiency in financial modeling and data analytics software to inform strategic business decision. So many data analytics softwares are available. Financial models are available. Our student must be educated, must be developed using these particular skills. Expertise in digital marketing techniques like social media management and search engine optimization must be taught. Not only taught, the skills must be developed in this particular area. Fluency in project management and collaboration tools to coordinate cross-functional teams and remote work. You know, these days, supply chain management, retail marketing, all these collaboration and project works, and we need to coordinate with different stakeholders. So they must be quite aware about these type of the skills which are required for our students. So when we dealt with the students of business management, we need to focus on the digital skills to business management in this particular area. When I'm talking to the science students for the digital skills, proficiency in scientific computing and data visualization tools to analyze complex data set and communicate research finding. MATLAB, so many softwares are available. And they must be able to use those mathematical model, those softwares. It may be a chemistry, it may be a physics, it may be mathematics, statistics for that matter. So that experimentation, that scientific computing is possible, and data visualization tools are there. Expertise in lab equipment, automation, and remote experimentation techniques to enhance productivity and collaboration. Because of sensor technology, because of semiconductors, because of robotics, lot of automation has come. And my students of science graduates, both undergraduate and postgraduate, must have an expertise in lab equipment, automation, and remote experimentation techniques to enhance productivity and collaborations. It's very important to that. Fluency in scientific writing and digital publishing platform to effectively disseminate research and innovations. So, of course, this skill of fluency in scientific writing and digital publishing equally helps good applicable to the business commerce students and also to the liberal arts students. So, our students of irrespective of the discipline, the digital literacy going beyond the internet, Google, or different platform using Moodle, NPTEL, Swayam, and use of technology in the business is very important. And that's why we go with different brainstorming, issue tracking, communication, file sharing. You know that all these different tools are available. And our students must be, in general, irrespective of their discipline domain, they must have a effective collaboration and communication, which are essential in today's digital driven academic and professional landscape. And these all tools must be shared with the student, shared with the student, so they can really develop well, they can be employable into that. Even when I mentioned to you about the digital writing, content creation, you, irrespective of any domain, again, liberal arts, business, commerce, and science, content creation, using multimedia skills to create digital content, polish videos, podcast. Yes, we must know. Our student must know, because domains are changing, companies are changing. You can become an entrepreneur. Content curation, how to curate the digital resources, that can be taught. And many of the students, they don't know how to curation is done, how the editing is done, how the visualization is made. And we can teach about the information for credibility and for the relevance of the matter. Digital portfolios, by building dynamic digital portfolios, student can showcase creativity, critical thinking, and technical pulse of the potential employee. Because that's why, many students now, I have seen, even commerce student, art student, they have their own portfolios and they are selling in the digital market. It's very, very good. We need to foster this skill, because without incorporating into the curriculum, we are giving, if we bring this as one of the agenda of our curriculum, we will be able to do this. And definitely content distribution is there, that exploring best practices for sharing their work online, leveraging social media and other digital platforms. These skills nowadays are very important. So we were knowing Facebook, but today LinkedIn, Instagram, blogs, and so many platforms are available where students can really gain the employment opportunity. And if they have this digital skill, they can perform. This is irrespective to the domain. Obviously, cybersecurity and privacy awareness is important to my all students, and you have to develop. You have to develop within them these skills, so that they become, very importantly, follow the online safety practices. So some skills on how they deal with the cybersecurity measures, using strong password, enabling two-factor authentication, identifying finishing attempt, etc., etc., etc. Data privacy and protection, they must be taught. See, many industry and business where they want students of arts, commerce, and science with a digital literacy, even cybersecurity and privacy. So teach students how they safeguard their personal information, understand private policy, and manage digital footprint to their responsibility. Then be a responsible digital citizenship, so that they don't go, I will not say anything, but I have seen, I don't use WhatsApp, but I have seen on WhatsApp, so many good friends have become now enemies to each other. Why? Responsible digital citizenship. So empower students to be mindful of their online behavior, avoid spreading misinformation, and respect the privacy and security of others. And of course, we have to educate them on emerging threats and trends which are happening, on what cybersecurity threats are there. So many softwares are there. Ransomware is there, social engineering is there. So IoT is there. So many vulnerabilities are coming up. So we have to educate them. See, my dear professor, At every moment when I am deliberating before you, what I understand a vision of National Education Policy 2020. We want to create a vibrant knowledge society. We don't want that our graduates of arts, commerce, science should be given a different level. They must be all treated globally competent to work everywhere. And it's a responsibility of you and me how we develop these skills among the student into that. And obviously, the continuous development and adaptability is equally important when we go for this particular task of the student. So continuous skill development, problem solving is going to be there. Now, coming to the last few slides. Now, I said you sometime before, right in the beginning, that I'm going to focus on some domain-specific skills and some generic skills. I already discussed domain-specific skills for liberal arts, for business management and commerce, for science education. Then I mentioned you about now the world is of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. So what type of skills are required? Then we discussed that along with that, digital skills are very important these days. Of course, these were irrespective of the domain. Same is life skills in higher education. As it is said, I told you sometime before, I made one quote, education is not a degree. It is the purpose of life. So, life, when I'm preparing a student for their career, they must be prepared for their life too. And how do I incorporate these skills among the student? So let us very quickly, not in detail, we discuss about the skills of life skills and how we can develop. Life skills encompasses broad range of personal, social, and practical abilities that empower individual to navigate the complexities of modern life. These skills go beyond academic knowledge, equipping students with the tools to think critically, communicate effectively, and adapt to the diverse situation, which talks about the positive social skills. It talks about listening, speaking, self-confidence, courage, equity, equality, all these aspects of the mind and how we can develop. Because if we miss this, we won't be able to focus onto that. So definitely, one which we discuss a lot is on critical thinking and problem solving. Though we discuss this in a different context, in the domain specific, cultivate the ability to analyze information from multiple perspectives, identifying underlying assumptions and biases. This is the life skills in professional life, in social life, in organizational situation, in even personal life. Cultivate the ability to analyze the information. Don't arrive at a decision. Develop creative problem-solving skills, applying both divergent and divergent thinking to generate innovative solution. Here, why I'm focusing upon this point, because even students, while selecting the career, they abruptly jump onto the career, having no proper knowledge, no critical thinking. They just arrive at a decision making. So this should be there in the minds of the students. This ability we need to develop, and this life skill, as I said, you critical thinking and problem solving every step in our life, in our personal life, social life, professional life. This is going to come, and that's why we must develop this habit, this skill among the student to go for a critical thinking and ability. Effective communication and interpersonal skills. Here I remember late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir. APJ Abdul Kalam sir mentioned that we should develop among the students 5 types of mind. APJ Abdul Kalam said that we must develop 5 types of mind. Listen carefully. Number 1, disciplinary mind. Discipline. If I'm a domain of economics, discipline. Sociology is discipline. Physics, chemistry, finance, disciplinary mind. My domain knowledge may be very perfect. Disciplinary mind, creative mind. He said that we must have a creative mind. Based upon your domain knowledge, you must be able to come out with a creative solutions to a problem. We must create, use different theories and policies together to solve this. That creativity, that ability must be there. Third mind, synthesizing mind. Synthesizing mind in the terminology of national education policy, multidisciplinary education. We must be able to synthesize our mind in a given situation. And that's synthesizing mind is very important. Fourth mind is ethical minds. We must have ethics irrespective of any domain of work, any nature of work. Ethical mind is very important. And friend, fifth type of the mind is respectful mind. Here come the interpersonal skills. We must have a respect. Interpersonal skills are very important. Many times there are conflicts, there are problems and conflicts in personal, social, and professional life only because of lack of effective communication and interpersonal relations. So, when we develop a life skills among the students, we must develop active listening skills to fully understand and respond to the other's perspective. It's very important. This needs to be developed. Cultivate clear and concise verbal communication, tailoring message to the diverse audience. They must be able to. So, effective communication is very important so that message reach in that language, in that slide, in that behaviorism to the audience. And enhance non-verbal communication abilities using body language and tone to convey ideas effectively. So, in day-to-day life, if even I'm talking to my wife or my children's or my colleague, the interpersonal skills matter at work, at home, in society too. And that's why these life skills we need to imbibe among the students through demonstration, through some exercise among the students as such. Emotional intelligence and self-awareness. Emotional intelligence, EQ, emotional balance, getting too much enthusiastic or having inferiority complex or superiority complex or becoming courageous. So this emotional intelligence matters. And to develop that emotional intelligence, you know, this is a part of affective domain. This is a part of affective domain which relate with your attitude, your behavior, your habits, your thoughts. And that's why emotional intelligence, emotional balance is very important, and we must teach students about emotional balance, and for which developing self-awareness to understand one's emotion, strength, and weakness is very important. Dear professors, we are talking about the skills in higher education, which became a part of National Education Policy 2020, and through this Mother Malviya Teachers Training Program for sensitizing National Education Policy 2020, we are now once again regaining that knowledge. It's not that it is not known to us, but we ourselves, many of us, you and me, have gone through these experiences. Because of lack of awareness, there are emotional imbalances. And that's why we must develop a very systematic strategy to develop students to understand their self-knowledge. Cultivate empathy to recognize and appreciate the feelings and perspectives of others. Respectful mind. Working together. These are the life skills which are required. If at all I'm traveling in a train, or I'm walking on a path, or I'm working on a shop floor, or I'm discussing on some problem, cultivate the empathy to recognize and appreciate the feelings and perspective of others. Enhance emotional regulation skills to manage impulses and to respond to challenges with resilience. I say that yes, people say that in everybody's life, failure is the first step. I have experience, and I sharing with my many students and faculty. In my life, there were not one step of failure. There were one step of failure, second step of failure, third step of failure. But very important is that if at all failures are there, your courage will take you and show you the way to your success. And that challenge, and that with resilience we have to approach, that we have to develop. We know we are professors, and we have seen the society, lots of issues, social issues, economic issues, employment issues. So many issues are there. And in this situation, how we are developing our graduates to become successful future citizens of our country, not country, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, for the global. And that's why this we have to develop into that. Adaptability and resilience. Cultivate a growth mindset. Though we discussed this in earlier slides, here focus is on life skills that view challenges and opportunities for learning and improvement. Many of our students, they are not thinking of their future. Always, whenever students come to me, or some faculty come to me for, say, some sort of mentoring, I say, have you given thought what is your future career plan? Why you select this career? To my faculty friend, I ask you, have you designed some mission and vision for your career and life? So, reading between the lines, we have to cultivate a growth mindset among the students. It's higher education where we have to focus on personal development along with domain development. Develop adaptability skills to respond flexibility to changing circumstances and unexpected obstacles. You and me know life is not a sure. Life is lot of unsureness. So many things happens in personal life, in social life, in organizational life, in professional life. Are our students adaptable to that situation? Are they being trained at how to work in this situation? We need to somewhere focus into that. and foster resilience by practicing self-care, seeking support, and bouncing back from the setbacks. This is very important. Learning from others, learning from experiences, that we have to teach to the student, my dear professors. This is all how we are going to do this is all through the process which we develop in the process of making student more and more adaptive to the situation, giving them why NSS is there, why NCC is there, why camps are there. We develop these skills among the students. Why we make different clubs in the institution. We have trekking club, we have cycling club, we have a music club. From this, they learn, develop so many these life skills actually. Time management and organization. Develop strategic time management skills to prioritize tasks, minimize distraction, and meet deadlines effectively. Sometimes when I'm talking to you, deliberating my lecture, I find that you all professor might be thinking, ki yaar, sir is only talking about these all aspects which are to be part of curriculum. Sir is not talking about you and me. We have to give so much to our student, so much to the society. How we will be ready for that? My dear professors, I appeal you, I request you, ours is a noble profession. We have to educate society. We have to develop future nation. But at the same time, I want you all, professor, to enjoy your life. Have some hobby. Understand the life goals. Many of you must be. But whenever I'm talking on this age, the other age is also important for me. So in our life, we have to enjoy our hobby. We must be serving to the society, and to get that energy, to get that sort of the input, we have to have also focus on our own self. Focus on our own self. How you can get energized. What are those hobbies? Enjoy the life so that we can teach so many things to the students directly, indirectly, as if we are going on the 4 years of educational tour. Students are learning, getting an environment where they are learning different skills which are required for their future life. Cultivate organizational habits. Every organization has got their mission, their vision, their policies, their norms, their standards, their calendars. All we need to develop these organizational skills among the students. We need to educate them at appropriate curriculum or appropriate workshops and leverage productivity tools and apps to streamline workflows. Automate repetitive tasks. You can use artificial intelligence in making these things happen so that there is no much repetition into that. Financial literacy and budgeting. I don't know how many of you have got your SIP and you are planning for your future mutual funds or bank fixed deposit or share market. I don't know. But then that financial literacy and budgeting, we must teach it to our students. Not only to the students of business management and commerce, but liberal arts and even science students develop an understanding of personal finance principles. Saving, investing, managing the debates, all credentials, all these things. Learn to create and maintain monthly budget. tracking expenses. Teach the student. Explore money management tools through the apps. This financial literacy we have to develop among the students. Leadership and teamwork. As I told you, in our life, in personal life, in social life, in organization, in profession, in any, while performing a role in different situation, leadership and teamwork matter. So, practicing collaboration, enhancing conflict resolution, and having inspiring, motivating leadership skills is very important that we want to develop student. We need to demonstrate, we need to plan the activities, curricular activities also, co-curricular activities, and some of the extracurricular activities for that matter. And for that reason, as I told you, we can go for different strategies for integrating life skills into the curriculum. Embed life skill development across multidisciplinary courses to reinforce their practical application. When you go for practical application, automatically these life skills get developed. Incorporates hands-on project and experiential learning opportunities that allow students to practice essential life skills. See, automatically happen. I told you sometime before, there are a list of skills to be developed. Doesn't mean that for every skills you are going to have a separate session, but you have to inbuild, you have to blend your teaching learning experiences so that you can develop life skill. Create collaborative learning environment that foster teamwork, communication, problem solving abilities. Encourage self-reflection and personal growth activities that promote self-awareness and emotional intelligence. And partner with industry or organization expert and community organization to provide real-world learning experience. I remember one of the late educationalists, V.V. Chipulunkar sir, he used to always talk about the learning from the surroundings, learning from real world learning experiences is very important. So life skills, whatever the life skills we discuss, can be taught in this fashion. The last but one skill is design thinking for university student. This design thinking is nothing but a problem solving skills useful for all domains of education, liberal arts, business management and commerce, science and technology. All people they required. So we must be able to use and plan. You should conduct very systematically, emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and implement. This system-based approach you can follow. Now, this design thinking is a user-centric, iterative process for solving complex problems. It involves emphasizing with users, defining challenges, ideating solutions, prototyping, and testing. These approaches encourage creativity, collaboration, and a willingness to experiment and learn from failures. So, from this definition of design thinking, you must have realized that this is applicable to all domains of education. So, design thinking doesn't mean it is only applicable to science and technology, but it gives you the defining challenges, ideating solution, prototyping, and testing so that creativity and collaboration is possible. If you have to go for design thinking in liberal arts, foster interdisciplinary thinking and problem solving across diverse fields. Cultivate creativity, innovation, and adaptability essential for 21st century careers. Encourage students to emphasize with end users and consider multiple perspectives. Integrate hands-on experiential learning through prototyping and interaction, and develop critical thinking, communication, and collaboration skill valued by employees. See, these design thinking skills, sometime before we talk about life skill, and prior to that, we discuss about interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary skill and domain-specific skill. If you integrate these things, you can develop multifaceted skill manpower. For the liberal arts, the critical thinking, the communication, and collaborative skills can be developed with all these aspects. For the business management student, you can equip them with a customer-centric mindset and innovative problem solving. So by integrating different global marketplace, different competition, you can develop the design thinking, solve the problem, use creativity, and develop among the student the entrepreneurial spirit, collaboration abilities, and tolerance for ambiguity, and go for a modern type of the requirement of the industry. For the science team, you can, of course, use design thinking to tackle complex interdisciplinary challenges. For example, say making a formulation of some fertilizer on some specific disease. So using creativity and approach and equip them to develop innovative solutions. So even through science education also, they can learn how to frame the problem, how to ideate the possibility, what the prototype concepts are there, how to iterations are there. So this type of cultivate problem solving ability. So ultimately, when we go for a design thinking abilities, we have to focus on different aspects of experiential learning, interdisciplinary collaboration, exposure to the design expert, and then designing thinking workshop. This can be done. This is many universities, many curriculum, irrespective of domain, nowadays they are focusing on the design skill development, design thinking skill development, which is a problem solving technique which is used for economics, sociology, psychology, political science, all branches of science, business, commerce and management, health sciences, everything it is required into that. And then we can very well introduce this into the, we can have an interdisciplinary courses, you can have a design studios, as I told you about the project lab, you can have a design competition challenges, and you can have a design thinking as one of the elective for the course. This is how you can incorporate this course into the curriculum. And definitely this design-centric mindset will develop creative confidence, cultivating curiosity, empathic mindset, and iterative mindset. You get to do many things at different aspect of that. And of course, you can have a multiple project on that, rapport prototyping, collaborative learning, all. And this is possible in all domains. You can take a micro project or a major project. You can have a rapid prototyping. You can have a showcasing the solution. These all things can be done. Coming to the last skills of today's discussion, artificial intelligence skills for the university graduates. Dear professors, this requires altogether a separate session. I'm only going to sensitize you about these AI skills for university graduates. These days, number one, these days, all employers are demanding graduates having AI competencies, AI skills. So fundamental AI concepts and principles must be known to the students. What is machine learning, neural networks, NLP, natural language processing? Many of you must be well conversant with this terminology, but our student must be made aware about these fundamentals of AI concept. Understanding the core principles of supervised, unsupervised, and reinforced learning and their application must be taught to the student. Machine learning techniques and application. All students, they must be given. In minor, you can give, or in multidisciplinary approach, you can offer them one course on AI ML, regression and classification, developing proficiency in building predictive models for numerical and categorical data, clustering and dimensional reduction, understand how to discover patterns and insight in the complex database and recommendation system. This we learn in economics, in sociology, in science, in business analytics. Everywhere, this model, this tool is important. So in digital literacy, you can also cover this into that. When we go for natural language processing and understanding, text processing, how the texts are processed, how the sentiment analysis is done, how the data is collected, how the customer reviews are taken, how the social media posts are taken, and how the questions are answered. So that natural language processing that you have to know, you know that we go with, when you go for any website or any CRM, you will find this type of text processing is happening. There's a tokenization, there's a streaming, there's a lemminization, and stop word removal. So this is how we can develop, and this must be known to our students. Computer vision and image analysis. To little high level, but image classification, object detection, semantic segmentation, and image generation. This sometime before I talk you about data visualization. For data visualization, irrespective of to the domain of education, our student must be trained on the computer vision and image analysis, so that nowadays a lot of softwares are there. They will give the images, but classifying the images into the predefined category using deep learning models, it will help you out into the student. As I told you sometime before, in every field, it may be arts, it may be a commerce, it may be science, robotics and automation is there. So our student must have a skills and a knowledge, okay, a sensitization about the sensors, how the control system works, how the motion planning is there, and what is the computer vision, how the algorithms are developed, how the objects are recognized, and how the scenes are understanding. So this, because in artificial intelligence, this automation part, because as I told you, now it is a multidisciplinary world. It is an interdisciplinary world. And this is a basic language one should know when they are learning into that. Data analytic and visualization, which we discussed sometime before, we need to go for data pre-processing, data analysis, predictive modeling, data visualization. Give them fundamental skills into that. At least tell them the definition, what are different models, and teach them through the softwares. So friends, these equally ethical considerations are there. So bias and fairness, privacy and security, transparency and accountability, and social impact. So whenever you are educating student on AI skill, please consider the ethical aspect of AI through this and develop these ability among the students. So to all of us, integrating skill-based learning into curricula through different aspects of experiential learning, interdisciplinary approach, and faculty development like this. Today, we had a sensitization program, but at later stage, we can have a domain-specific workshops where we can develop a faculty equipping educators with the tools and resources to effectively teach these skills among the students. So the future of higher education is prioritizing the skill development. It's an employer demand, it's an evolving job market, and this is the students' expectation, and all that we have to do in this. So friends, dear professors, these are all references I have used, and even while preparing the PowerPoint presentation, I have made the use of artificial intelligence, and by using the references which I have quoted, along with my own book on outcome-based education, theory and practice, I have prepared this presentation. I hope this presentation is useful to you. I thank you, Human Resource Development Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, Director Dr. Patil sir, Assistant Director Dr. Rafe sir, and you all professor for your patient listening to this session. Thank you so much. Over to you. Any questions? Yes, any questions, please? Okay, I think there are no questions. With the permission of organizer, may I take a leave? Yes, thank you once again to one and all. Bye-bye, see you. If no questions, I didn't find, I will just check a chat box. I just check a chat box. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, see you. Bye-bye.